All right, welcome back to another exhilarating SPSS video with Professor Wyman. I am still working in the Machiavellianism data set from 244A last semester that I got from Kaggle. So this data set is focused on Machiavellianism, which is a dark personality trait, and it has some additional variables for demographics. We have education, gender, age, and religion. What I want to do is show you cross-tabulation in this video, and then the next video is on chi-square. Cross-tabulations allow you to look at how two variables interact. You would typically do them just for categorical variables, but I've seen people do whatever they so desire. So I'm going to demonstrate this and provide an example of how to read the table, because I know I had some questions in class about that. So here I'm going to go to Analyze, and I'm going to do Descriptive Statistics, and I'm going to go to Crosstabs. So I'm going to go to Crosstabs here. So I'm going to right click again and display variable names. I don't usually do this, but just to show you, you can always sort alphabetically or by measurement level as well. So we could actually sort by measurement level. That's not unreasonable. So we can see all of the categorical variables together. What we want to do is we want to look at, again, the relationship between these two variables. We're going to look at gender and religion. And typically what you do is you put your independent variable across the top of your table and then your dependent variable down the rows. We don't have a real independent dependent variable, but gender is not a dependent variable. So we're just going to make that our independent for this example. So I'm going to make gender my columns, and I'm going to make religion my rows. You can do all sorts of different things here. So if I wanted to, I could create and choose an exact test to use, which we will talk about later. I could run a chi-square, which is in the next example, so next video. What I do want to do is I want to look at the cells. I'm going to do column percentages, and I am going to come back and show you what it looks like if I change that. So I'm going to say continue and okay. Now, what I have here, you can see this is the command. We're looking at religion by gender. It's a cross-tabulation, and we selected the column count. So I could copy this and copy it into my syntax so that it just runs it for me in the future and make some modifications. But let's take a look. So one other note, sometimes if I have a lot of categories, like with religion, that's also a good reason to put these in the rows. But you can see we have gender in our columns, male, female, other, and then we have total, and we have religion here in our rows, and they range from agnostic down to Sikh, and then other, and then we have total here. How you read this, you want to think about it first to orient yourself. If we look at this row of male, and actually, I'm going to export this to Word. So File, I'm going to export this to Word so I can highlight for you. So let's do export, browse. Let's put this on my desktop. Oops, not a recent desktop. And save. Example, save. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I need to move this up because I don't know if you can see this, but the OK button is down under here and it's hidden away because I need to expand my screen, and because I'm in a Porto and a Porto is really special, I need to do that not with sharing my screen. So if you will pardon this brief interruption, I'll be right back. All right, so this is why I wanted to move this to Word, because I can show you, oops, I can show you what I am talking about here. Okay, so here is our cross-tabulation. So it's a table that crosses or combines two different variables. And here we have male, right? So this is our male column. And so what you're seeing here is that there are, of all of the males, these are the counts of the religion who fall under the male category. So this column represents just males in each of these religions. And at the very bottom of it is the total number of men. So this, there we go. My Porto hatred is not lessening with this. So this yellow highlighted, this is our total of men, and that's what that column percentages represents that I selected. So this is all men who responded. This is everybody who said that they are a man in this survey, and they're right here in this column. So 107% of men, or sorry, 107 men, which is 27.7%, were agnostic. 92 men are atheist. 1 man is Buddhist. 57 men are Christian Catholic. So this is based on the number of men, and that's what the percentage comes from. Same thing here for female. So this is our female column. 22 females are agnostic. 17 females are atheist. The nice thing about this is that using the percentages, it allows you to compare when you don't have the exact same number in each category. So we can see that even though there's far fewer females, it's actually a pretty similar category here, or percent for here. And so that's because there's just fewer females in the overall data set. So again, if I look at this column, this is all female responses for each religion, and at the bottom of it, is the total. So 107 women total. And so this is 100% of women, but divided by each of these religions. And then you get the same thing for other, and then there were very few that identified as other. And then you have the total for the rows. So because I selected column percentages, our percentages are from each row and add up to 100 at the bottom for the columns. Now here, you can see that this row percent here is for the percent of the total data set that is that are agnostic. So 26.1% of people in the entire data set are agnostic. 22.2% of the entire data set are atheist. Now, what this is going to look like that's different is if I run this again, and I'm going to do my descriptive statistics, my cross tabs. I'm going to use the same here, but I'm going to change what's in my cells. I'm going to say row percentages and continue and OK. The 100% is based on the row. So the row is now of all genders who are agnostic, 82.9% of those who are agnostic are male. 17.1% of all agnostic are female. So the total is for the row here. So that's why the 100% is there. And so here, now we've switched it, and we're seeing that 78% is the total number of males in the data set. So we're looking at the total percentage of males instead of that 100%. What I typically do when I create crosstabs, I will usually do all of them, but it can be a little intimidating when you're getting used to it. So it's up to you what you feel comfortable with, but now I have a lot of different ways that I can look at my data. So that's crosstabs for you. And you are going to be using this for your assignment. I do want you to interpret crosstabs. The example that I did in class was looking at the pre versus post PLC for the PLC survey, looking at pre versus post for students who were in an EES major versus not in an EES major. And we were looking to see, did we lose people in EES to the post survey? So did something change from the pre to post survey? So the next video is on chi-square using the same information. So I'm going to go ahead and end here.